Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Monday. Still a victory Monday, Media Day Monday, the second to last day of the year of our Lord 2024. Cody, Cam Skattebo is out there saying that he's completely unstoppable.
Yeah, man, unstoppable. Is an interesting. It's definitely an interesting thought for a guy that has been stopped this year. So
has he?
He's been stopped this year, and he's never played a defense into the top 25 in rushing yards allowed. So,
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't statistically, he's been stopped. He has not ran rampant on every single team he's played this year, which is kind of the way that was phrased, and which is also kind of the way that everybody's kind of
even in those games. I see the people on Orange Blitz, Cody, saying like Texas Tech held him to 60 yards. I'm like, did y'all watch that game? He was unstoppable in that game. It's like, you're not going to talk about the 2 touchdowns. You're not going to talk about the 6 receptions for 117 yards. It's like, I mean, there's a big difference between 60 yards on the ground and 177 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns.
Correct.
And like, if you watch the Iowa State game, it's like he's just it's like he's made of magic. I couldn't, like, I'd seen him a little bit, but I didn't watch. I clearly I wasn't watching as much Big 12 this season.
Yeah.
But the thing about Skattebo,
Kansas State, that's all I'm going to say.
With Kansas State, I didn't watch it, but dude, I mean, for Utah, I think like Utah is a good team, right? He went bonkers on him. The last 3 games of this year, he's on a heater, man. Like I understand that, you know, it doesn't make that much sense. So like, what were the last, like, I should get his game log up, but it's been like
Arizona State and Iowa State, or sorry, Arizona and Iowa State.
That Iowa State game is a pinball machine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can't be like, maybe he's just thinking about that. Like, they cannot stop him. And Iowa State has typically been, you know, they've typically been a defense that's at least, you know, good with their gap integrity and, you know, relatively. Yeah, I mean, it's a well coached Matt Campbell deal, and he just I think to myself, I'm like, okay, you know, as we think about this game, of course, we're talking about the Peach Bowl coming up. For, you know, they have a running back, Cam Skattebo, who was saying he's unstoppable, and
a quarterback that's saying he's better than anybody. He's best quarterback in the game, and a running back that's saying he's unstoppable. So not one, but 2, and it's their 2 main guys.
Yeah. Well, look, and I see Sammy in the chat saying that they lost to they lost to Tech. Still, I mean, that was not because of Scat. That was not because of.
I'm also not looking at Tech though. Tech's not something that you go, well, Tech stopped them. It's like, well, Tech didn't stop them. How about we look at Kansas State? Like, Kansas State's a respectable team. Utah is a good one. You looked at Utah. Utah, we know that generally plays good defense. Utah ain't been Utah this year. Kansas State has played good football this year, or at least respectable. Right, they were 9-4. They turned it on down the stretch, and we know that Kleiman has a well put together. 25 carries, 73 yards. That was technically his second worst performance of the year outside of the Texas State one on a yards per carry basis, 2.9. Only 4 for 44 in the air, barely crested 100 yards.
See, I didn't watch that game, but I would think that that's one where he probably got pulled early.
Why? It was 24-14. Why would he get pulled early?
Okay, no, like I said, I don't know. I figured that guy would run, that he would run through the Texas State defense like a warm knife through butter.
No, I was talking about Kansas State.
Oh, okay.
Texas State, yeah, 100%. I believe. Yeah, I'm talking about Kansas State though. I don't give a dang about. Even though Texas State, I think Arizona State kicked a field goal to win the Texas State game in the 4th quarter. I think that was like a tie game. But nonetheless, doesn't matter. The point being, he's talking. He's been very good this year. But and they were talking. I mean, I turned on House Divided for a minute and a half earlier, and this kid again has almost 2,100 all-purpose yards from scrimmage, I should say, which is rushing plus receiving. They brought up Christian McCaffrey. Listen, brother.
He's not. I mean, he's a great player. He's not.
He's a great player.
Stylistically, he's nothing like McCaffrey.
If you want to go to Stanford, I think somebody put it in the chat earlier on House Divided. Toby Gerhardt's the comp. Toby Gerhardt. You remember Toby Gerhardt? He finished second. Of course, you remember Toby Gerhardt, but I meant like Toby Gerhardt, the play style. He was one of my favorite players. I literally got the dude's jersey when he became a Viking. I loved him so much. I got it autographed from him at training camp. It was my favorite thing ever. But the dude he's a bowling ball. He broke tackles. He ran hard.
Yeah.
He was 235 pounds. This kid is not, he's not 235. He's not Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, remember last year, 6'2".
How much does Skattebo weigh? What does he weigh?
I think he's like 215.
Oh, I would have figured he was 225 at least.
Well, it's because he's more squatty, right? The way he looks like he should be like a 6 foot 230, but I'm pretty sure he's more closer to like that 5'10", 215 range. From what I read earlier when I was doing my stuff on my column over in Orange Bloods. And the direction my brain goes is like, I asked the question, are we sure Cam Skattebo is better than Ollie Gordon? I think it's Cam Skattebo. I don't think it's Bo. So I got to say, I think it's Cam Skattebo.
How's it Boo? It's just, there's only one O at the end of his name.
I don't know. I've heard it said both ways.
Am I spelling it wrong?
I don't know. But I said, are we sure he's better than 2023 Ollie Gordon? And then I just added on because I was doing the research. I said, is he better than 2023 Ollie Gordon, Taj Brooks, and Abu Sama? And you're going to laugh first off because obviously Abu Sama is the running back from Iowa State. Taj Brooks is obviously the running back from Texas Tech. Runs like a bowling ball, right? So listen to these stats here, Alex.
Okay.
So first off, for Skattebo, he's got 92 missed tackles this year, missed tackles forced, 12 more than Cincinnati running back Corey Kleiner, which is second in America. He's so far ahead of everybody else in the country at 92 missed tackles forced. Very impressive. 1,085 of his rushing yards, 1,085 of his 1,569 come after contact. That's second in America. He's unreal from those perspectives. And that wouldn't shock you when you say that because when you watch him, like you said, he's bouncing off everybody. It's like pinball, right?
Do you know I just got the perfect comp? It just came to my head.
What is it?
It's James Conner from Pitt.
That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid comp. But let me finish this line though, because I brought up Taj, I brought up Abu Sama. I know people probably in the chat go, "What the? He's better than those guys." Sure, yes, I get it. But listen to the stylistic stat right here. I just told you the missed tackles forced. You know the yards after contact. Obviously, you know the explosive plays. Skattebo's got 18 explosive plays this year, 20 plus yards. It's the most on that team. Second was Jordan Tyson with 16, the receiver that's out. Great yards after contact, like I said. So Taj Brooks last year for Texas Tech was number 1 in America, 96 missed tackles forced. Obviously sitting in the same spot Skattebo is. Ollie Gordon last year, 950 yards on breakaway runs of 15 plus yards, number 1 in America last year. Abu Sama, Iowa State, 6.55 yards after contact per attempt last year, number 1 in America. The reason I bring up those 3 guys and each of those guys being number 1 in each of those things, and I understand the Texas defense is a little bit different, but still really good against the run and overall as a defense, is because those 3 guys against Texas combined 39 rush attempts. They did well against almost everybody else in America last year. 39 rush attempts between those 3 guys against Texas for 140 yards. Combined.
Well, I mean, I guess they had to get those guys they had to get those teams. I'm trying to think back to those specific games, but it feels like they just had to get those teams to abandon the run. I'm not sure that Arizona State's going to be able to abandon the run. They'll just use, let me just click here. So I guess Skattebo is a Norwegian name, and maybe it's one of these things where it's, hold on. Skattebo? So that's how it is in Norwegian. Did you hear the lady say it?
No.
Hold on. Did you hear that?
No, I can't.
No, I guess the mic probably doesn't pick it up. It's Skattebo is how you say Skattebo in Norwegian. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess it is Skattebo. I think that probably those teams they would have had to abandon the run. I'm not like. You did your column on this about the keys to victory. Who are I watched these games. I didn't, there's like no other playmakers that I've even noticed on their offense.
This is it. I mean, Jordan Tyson if Jordan Tyson was playing in this game, the wide receiver, he had 75 receptions, 1,100 yards. Like I said before, Skattebo had 18 explosive plays this year. Jordan Tyson had 16. The next highest is 6 by the backup running back. I believe his name's Kyson Brown. He had 6 again on the year. So they're not exactly an explosive team outside of Skattebo and Tyson. And Tyson was on a tear towards the end of the season.
You know what number Tyson is?
Huh?
Do you know what Tyson's number is?
0.
Number 0.
Yeah,
okay.
he's a transfer from Colorado.
1,100 yards, and I didn't really notice him.
He had what?
Did you say 1,100 yards he's had this year? I didn't.
1,100 yards. Yeah, he blew up. He started blowing up. I think like the Oklahoma State game. In November, he was undefendable. Kansas State, he had 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, like 140 against it. He was was getting into his own, and I think really partially, I think it was this Levitt kid, the quarterback, but nonetheless, Tyson was like the receiver. And then it was Skattebo, and it was a great dynamic. The quarterback was coming along. Good dynamic for Big 12 football to win football games. Past those 2 guys, the player with the most yards after that receiving is 320 from Xavier Gilroy. 19 catches, 320 yards on the season from Xavier Gilroy. That's the next receiver. The last 5 games, 2 catches, 1. He's got 4 touchdowns, but very limited output from that perspective. This offense runs through Skattebo. My thought overwhelmingly, when I got through it, and you're like, well, keys to victory. My keys to victory is literally just like treat this like that Oklahoma State game last year. I don't know how you don't. I don't know how you don't look at this thing. And I feel like we're hearing the same exact stuff from everything. It's like, oh, Texas ain't. And I saw Lance Zierlein tweeted out. I love Lance, but he's like, Texas ain't seen nothing like Cam Skattebo. This guy's going to make you tackle him. He's going to bounce off you. He's very tough to bring to the ground. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, like last year, Ollie, he's not as big as Derrick Henry, but the guy runs like Derrick Henry and Latavius Murray. He's north and south. He's going to run you over. He can, has a wiggle. That's what he is, right? Good running back. Killed everybody. Runs into a buzzsaw against Texas. And the Skattebo kid is good, but he's not an elite talent. He's not an elite player. He's a good player. One player is not beating Texas, and they don't have a second player. And on top of that, Alex, here's the better stat here. And I have this great segment in my column. It's presented by my great sponsor, Alex Dunlap, and the new Football with Friends beef jerky,
which is still sold out.
It's called According to PFF. Listen to this. This is my favorite stat of the week for this game. They are the number 1 rushing grade on PFF. So that's obviously Skattebo, right? Because he's been a great running back, breaks tackles, et cetera, et cetera. They have the worst run blocking unit graded on PFF that Texas will have played this year with a 50. I got to read this right. 56.9 grade. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Wrong line.
This is the best stat? You're
56.9. There you are. 56.9.
Okay.
I'm like reading 2 different lines here. The fourth worst fourth worst rush blocking grade that Texas will have played this year. Side by side with Oklahoma, just a notch ahead of Oklahoma, below Kentucky in this ballpark, right? But the thing is, their run grade is Skattebo, 93. The run blocking is 56.9. And
he's creating a lot on his own. He creates so much on his own.
And that's what I'm saying. So you see him create a ton on his own. Boom, boom off of everybody. And I think of like NFL terms and charting, and you chart all the Texas games. When I would chart back when I worked at Player Profiler, you would be looking for like yards created and yards blocked. So when you'd watch the offensive line, you'd watch the yards blocked. And it'd be like, if you had a negative yardage block, that means obviously the defense was disrupting and they hit the running back in the backfield. And then that's how you would find a running back that, like Skattebo, missed tackles force, yards after contact, yards created, et cetera, et cetera. When you're playing against teams like Texas State, like Texas Tech, like Kansas State, like Arizona, where it's 285-pound defensive linemen, not the most athletic defensive backs, not the most athletic linebackers, not all 5 and 4 stars. It's a little bit easier to break those tackles, don't you say?
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. Of course. Of
I
course.
think that's where this comes like full circle for me is like, I'd love him, but when you look at the trenches for Arizona, they don't have a single player on the defensive line over 300 pounds. And on the offensive line, they aren't good.
No, they don't. They're definitely pretty. I think they're a little bit smaller too. You
I
can
don't.
just
I put 34-0 in my column
for the score.
score.
Wow. Well, that'll get you some brownie points from the chat. My
I
God.
got people on Orange Bloods telling me I'm wrong. It's gonna be 2017. They're gonna score a couple times. I'm like, I literally labeled my column, "Will Arizona State score?" And I kept asking myself in the column, "How will Arizona State score?" I can't figure it out. The only way I could figure it out is, like a 4-yard quick dig route to the right side, and Quinn throws a pick or something.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be. It isn't going to be with their kicker.
Dude, their kicker. Oh my gosh! Holy cow!
Dude, they held an open tryout. I was seeing like, what was the? It's like it won't. They can't kick like past 30 yards.
Yeah, they're 5 for 13 outside of 30 yards.
I mean, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah,
if they can't get in the red zone, they ain't scoring. And if you get in the red zone against Texas, they're top 10. They're top 10 in the red zone regardless. Texas is. So it's like everything you look at: turnover margin. You look at the red zone. You look at explosives. Them scoring. Period. Like you said with the field goals. I just don't know how one guy. If one guy beats you in your Texas, if one guy even makes it a ball game, you don't deserve to be here.
No, that's true.
The fact that people are even considering this thing to be a game should be disrespect on the plate of Texas's. Them saying like, "Oh, this team doesn't. They won the conference. This team doesn't deserve to be on the same playing field in a quarterfinal as Texas." In my opinion,
dude, did Jordan Tyson even play versus Iowa State? How did I not notice him if he still goes for 1,100? I mean,
so his biggest game, you said Iowa State?
Yeah.
No, he got hurt. I said that. He got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, his last game was against Arizona, I think.
Okay. Oh, all right. So then maybe I guess it would be Jordan Tyson and Cam Skattebo would be the two to worry about on offense, it seems like. And with, the defensive backs, having a little bit of a shake, coming off probably the shakiest that we've seen them versus Clemson. That they're gonna be dialed in, dude. They're gonna be dialed. Manny Muhammad's not gonna have two games like that in a row where he grades out negatively.
I'm telling you, dude, I think this is gonna be a complete and utter dominant performance, offense, and the Colts. I mean, the Colts are garbage, but the Colts threw the ball 11 times 2 weeks ago, and Jonathan Taylor ran for 200 yards. Like Texas is gonna. They don't need to throw the football more than a dozen times. They might run for 300 on these guys. This game, what was the quick game a couple weeks ago? Was it like the Jets and the whatever game it was? It was like in the late third quarter, and all these other games were at halftime in the NFL, like 2 weekends ago, right? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter, but you know what I'm saying though. When the game script gets going, and you're like, wow, that game is absolutely cooking because both sides are just running the football. It's like Texas might literally just run the football. Take a couple shots, sure. Get Quinn going, whatever. And on the Arizona State side, like there's nothing other than Skattebo. I don't know how they score. I don't know how this game doesn't. I think it's going to be a splattering. And we've been doing the show how long? And we've been doing a show together for how long? I don't come out with these bullish of takes that often in this direction. I feel really good about this one.
I feel really good about Texas beef traders. I mean, it's really just such a great place to go. TexasBeefTraders.com is where you can find them online, and you can get 10% off there by telling them that you heard about them here on Football with Friends. They've been a great partner with us. We've done the beef jerky. We got a big announcement coming up for a new product that we're going to be launching for 2025 with those guys that hopefully y'all won't sell us completely out of the same way you've done with the beef jerky. But we're trying to get
What?
I hope they do. Well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess we're trying to get the whole supply chain. We didn't know that there was going to be this much demand for it, so we're going to get it figured out to where it's always available. Sadly, it's still always sold out. But look, the meat shop's open right now. You can go there. I'm having Texas Beef Traders for dinner tonight, like I do most nights. Picanha steaks. It's going to be delicious. My family's getting back home from Dallas here shortly, and we're gonna we get to eat like kings, man, because we just take it's a very simple thing. You just go up to take a little bit of time, go to Texas Beef Traders, get your meat for the month. Or look, if you don't want to do that and you might live far away from Lakeway, you want meat that's raised sustainably, that is local from farms that are right around here, local, delicious, clean meat, no vaccines, no antibiotics, no weird steroids, no shots, bovine nutritionists on staff. Go to Texas Beef Traders. Go to texasbeeftraders.com. Just talk to Darren on the phone, put in an order, and he'll just bring it to your house. It's the simplest thing in the world. Texas Beef Traders, texasbeeftraders.com, right there off of Loman's Crossing in the heart of Lakeway. You'll never regret a moment spent at Texas Beef Traders. I promise you that much. texasbeeftraders.com. All right. Just Cody. So there, man, just a bunch of stuff to get to. And I haven't talked to you. We texted about this a little bit. But I'm just wondering, what did you think about the bowl games with Shedeur Stewart or Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward?
I thought BYU came to play football like they should have. They got their 11th win of the year. Sataki's a great coach. I think Shedeur is really good. I'm worried about him. I've always thought he's the most mentally pro ready in this upcoming class, but I'm not sure overall he's the best. I still would lean, my mentals lean more towards the projection side of things, stronger arm, bigger body. So that's going to lean me more towards Cam Ward generally. I'm a little still shaky. I wish Shedeur, I don't know if I wish he had another year. I don't really wish he had another year. I wish that he ends in a good spot. But I think that spot, no matter what's going to be him starting, which I don't think is a good thing. In the end, they got blown out. That game was whatever. I think the bigger news, obviously, is the Cam Ward thing. He played a half. He broke the all-time passing touchdowns record from Case Keenum, like 156 touchdowns, I think it was. And I was listening to Todd McShay, the great NFL draft analyst, like an hour ago, and he said before the game that he was told that was going to happen. And he immediately jumped his source and he goes, BS. And his source goes, that's what's going to happen. He's going to break the record and go. And I like that. It was expected. It was known. It wasn't just like him in the middle of the game going, I'm done.
I think it's weird.
I think it's weird because, first off, the guy, he's been on a couple shows, pods with like Shedeur and stuff. And he's like, man, we're going to go into that Pop-Tart Bowl. We're going to blow that thing up. We're going to score a ton of points. We're going to all this. He's talking, right? And they go in and they look great. Obviously, they don't play defense, nor does Iowa State. That game could have been 63-60 had, he played and pushed it, I think. And he could have really thrown for like 6-7 touchdowns, made a statement. That's his last appearance. I don't really get the stop at halftime. Like, why not keep pushing it? Why not make a statement? Why not put that last thing out there? You're not the number one. Maybe he thinks he potentially is the number one pick, but you're competing for the spot, right? That tells me he's obviously not going to compete in any of the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl or anything if he's invited, which worries me because I love Cam. I've wanted Cam to come out last year from Washington State. I liked him as a projection.
You don't think he would? You don't think he'd accept a Senior Bowl invite?
I'm not sure if he
maybe
would.
not. He probably thinks he's going to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks taken.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Shedeur's going to go to the Shrine and he's going to walk through the whole process. I'm not even sure. He's not going to
practice.
He'll hold a football, but he ain't going to throw the football between the white lines.
He might throw it on the side. Yeah, he's not going to.
Yeah. Between the white lines, he won't though. And then I think Cam probably doesn't go down to the Senior Bowl just because right now everything that we're hearing is like this big of a gap between those two and everybody else. But super chat here from Friendly Mango.
Friendly Mango, thank you so much for the super chat, man. If you guys have questions for us or you want us to get to them or with some priority, send us a super chat. We definitely love to get them. And so thank you, Friendly Mango. As long as we're asking for super chats and stuff, also, if you could please remember to like the show, subscribe to the channel. We always do appreciate that. And it doesn't cost anything, or it's super easy. If you're watching this on X, if you come over to YouTube and subscribe, that way, it just helps the show grow. So thank you for liking the show and subscribing to the channel. He says we're going to whoop butt. Hashtag forks down 42-3. So he's basically right there with Cody.
Is that forks down? Is that forks down? So you go horns up.
That could be some kind of gang sign, man. You don't want to throw.
I'm just saying, horns up, forks down, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing.
I think Texas fans don't need to do any kind of down stuff.
No, I don't think they do either. I don't think they do either.
They have their own hand signal.
What about? I mean, we're talking about these quarterbacks. I wanted to run through these really quickly.
I just think that the whole Cam Ward thing. I can understand it. I don't think anybody's gonna.
He's gonna get questioned about it.
Yeah, his agent's gonna have him ready for. Everybody's gonna ask him. He's gonna have his talkers all lined out. He's gonna he'll be fine. But I'm just saying from me personally, and it's because I had him picked in my pick'em con.
You're talking about the kitty cat perspective. That's where you're going with it.
Yeah, I'm just like if you're gonna play.
100%. Like Shador got his tail whipped, played the whole game.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, if you say you're gonna play, I would play. Because Restrepo didn't play, did he?
I'm not even sure.
I don't think he played.
I was doing the show.
I don't think he did. It's like
he opted out the last minute. I think there was an injury there. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter because I thought he was going to play, and but I just think if you're gonna opt out, just opt out before the game. It throws a really weird dynamic into things, and it's going to create all kinds of questions for him that he might not need to. That he might, he's going to have to navigate it a little bit through the draft process.
We're talking about these quarterbacks. I just want to ask you these quick questions quickly because this just happened in the last couple of days. One, Cade Klubnik from Clemson going back to school. Carson Beck, obviously with the UCL injury, he declared. Obviously, there's some thoughts on both sides from that perspective. Did you think that was phony? He should have went back to school, which I don't know if you really could. The current state of Georgia, like with Gunnar Stockton, like they love Stockton, and that was the plan anyway for them. And they have Jaden Rashada there. And then the Quinn stuff. Did you listen to the Quinn stuff before we came on here?
Yeah, I didn't hear because you told me to go to the 20-minute mark of the show. I love McShay's show, so I'll go back and listen to the. Did he talk about Cam before that?
Quinn.
Yeah, Cam before Quinn.
Yes.
Okay. So, the Quinn stuff. So that's it. So Todd McShay on the McShay show today on the Ringer says that every,
that was the key word. Every. That's what hopefully I was hoping you were going to go there.
That's it. I mean, it's like you can listen to me talk about, every NFL evaluator I've talked to, and not to say that I don't have, that I don't have people who are sources and stuff like that, but you got to remember McShay was do you remember he would get in these spats with all the other draft analysts? It's like he's one of the biggest name guys as far as the NFL draft circles. And Cody will attest to this. At the last 2 years that I've been covering the draft with Cody, we do the roster watching player profiler. We go to the player profiler house and we make the content for like 6 hours a day for draft stuff. And I'm just like, on these, I'm just like, man, I miss McShay, dude. Like I miss having his insight and his takes on these players and his takes on the state of these teams. And so, I mean, he's a dude that I've, just as a viewer, I've greatly respected, and somebody who I think is really good. And I think a lot of other people think that, even though he's kind of been out of the game for a little while, he's got mad sources. This guy's got a ton of sources. And so when he says every single evaluator that he's talked to Everyone I've spoken to says Ewers should grad transfer.
And that's on the heels of what we talked about a week ago with Feldman, Kuiper, and maybe it was him, McShay. All three of them, like within the same day, came out and were like on Quinn.
There's something out there, man.
And so, I mean, there's rumors out there, there's thoughts out there, and now he says everybody I've talked to thinks he needs to grad transfer or return to school, and everybody knows that's not going to be Texas. So,
I want to get back to this, but I figured I would forget to answer this question if I didn't put it up right now. But yes, Nick Garcia, this will be my 13th Senior Bowl, man. You can always find Cody and I there. So come say what's up. We'll be doing the show live from Mobile during the days we're there. Except probably that'll be we're gonna have some days. Thursday we won't have it because I'll be flying home.
I'll be driving.
But we'll have those announcements about the schedule later. Oh yeah, we should probably say so. The shows this week we're gonna do Monday, Tuesday, no show Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday. So it's basically like back to a regular week. Then we'll be back to our regular schedule.
Are we going to do final takes tomorrow?
Sure. Final takes Tuesday. What final takes Tuesday and final takes Friday, I guess. Final takes episodes do well.
Dude, the final takes is
I can't believe all it says on this final takes on the thumbnail. It's not like a super catchy thing, but it seems to always do really well. Super chat from JP Villa. Thank you, JP Villa or via Villa 13. 199 for 199. How do you see the Hill LaFau matchup against Skattebo?
You think we get any Binda?
What?
You think we get any Binda here? Like a little more Binda?
We'll get third. Yeah, they've been kind of mixing him in a little bit more than they were during that point in time when Leongo LaFau just completely took over the job coming out of the bye.
I just wonder with his, I don't know what you want to call it. I like to call it like hammer ability. Like he just comes down and lays the hammer. Like I just wonder if they let that happen a couple times in Skattebo early.
Yeah,
play a little bit more.
I don't think that Ant Hill is going to. The thing with LaFau that we just worry with LaFau and Binda to a certain degree. LaFau's gotten a little bit. You know how they. Both of those guys are kind of hair on fire. Yep. And I think you got it. Like they need to keep their run fist the same way like Anthony Hill keeps his run fist. They can't go down there looking for a collision with him. Just get your fit and take the guy down. And if he's going to get, he's going to fall forward against you. You're not going to. It's just, get your form tackle, get your head across the bow, wrap up, and take him down. He might drive his legs for an extra 2 or 3 yards, and that's fine. You're not gonna. You don't want to get into the battering ram thing with him because he is shifty enough, and he is certainly elusive enough to where if you just give him a little bit of leverage to either side, he can make things happen. So I would say that what they need to do, I think that Hill is supremely suited to stop this kind of runner. I think on the surface, you would think that Binda and LaFau would be, but counterintuitively a little bit, I think those guys need to kind of not hone in, but maybe just kind of cut back a little bit on that natural instinct that they have just to go down there, looking for the big collision. I think they just need to get their head across, keep their leverage, keep their run fits, and wrap up, right? And then just wait for the gang to come finish them off. So that's how I think they matched up. I think they'll be fine. Like Cody was saying, it's just one guy, right? It's just one dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a school you think that Quinn would thrive at? I mean, is it Oregon?
Yeah, that's the one that I think pops off directly to you. I saw some Notre Dame, which I thought's interesting because they've went Sam Hartman and now Riley Leonard.
Yeah, but
both of those guys are a little more athletic though.
They have a guy that I watched, and his name is
the Hart kid.
Is it CJ Hart?
I think so. It's the son of,
your
grandson of a
If you look at him, I think that this kid is his name Hart. Let me look and see. I was texting with somebody about it.
From Notre Dame.
Yeah. And I was watching his huddle. CJ Carr.
Carr. There you go.
Yeah.
Who's the coach from Michigan? Carr.
Sharon.
No.
Sharon. What?
No. The Michigan football coach.
Lloyd Carr.
Lloyd Carr. That's his grandson.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Lloyd Carr's grandkid. He has the most interesting. I think he's got a fantastic arm, but he's got the most interesting. Like if you watch his junior highlights, his arm and his feet just aren't connected to each other at all. I think if you don't give him very much time, he's gonna have trouble. But from what I've heard from people up there close to that program, they said that there've been times in practice where he's looked like the best quarterback that they have. There's no way that they're going to spend their NIL money on it. They're in on this kid. So I don't think the Notre Dame thing is. I know Colin Cowherd was saying like it's a big name quarterback going to Notre Dame, but it's gonna be after the playoffs, and everybody starts going through your head. I'm like, oh, well, all right, who are the quarterbacks left in the playoffs that could fit this mold? And obviously, you're with all this buzz about Ewers. You think it could be him? I don't think that that's right. But
it's Oregon.
Why not go to the Senior Bowl and just go pro? This quarterback class stinks. Whether or not these evaluators think you should go back or think you shouldn't or whatever, I'm not doing this for the evaluators. I'm doing this for me.
All right, so he's
guess what? Those same evaluators that say you should go back, they probably still end up taking you in the second round. They just thought you should have gone back.
I mean, Matt Corral was what, pick 70? So what if he goes to what if he's a Cleveland Brown at pick 65? Or what if he's a Saint at pick 74?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who the head coach of the Saints is going to be next year. Maybe it will be an awesome fit. I don't know. What if the Saints hire like Liam Cohen from away from the Bucks? I don't know. I mean, do I think it would be terrible if he had to go to like I don't know who the Raiders are going to have as their head coach.
Well, I'm
just trying to think about the teams that are going to be in the quarterback market.
This was my I predicted. I tweeted this out actually a couple hours ago. Joe Brady from Buffalo to go to the New Orleans Saints. You like Joe Brady with Quinn in New Orleans?
Joe Brady going back to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Scene of the 2019 heist with the LSU Tigers.
How about so Las Vegas they dropped a couple spots, right? Giants dropped a couple spots. I don't know. The Giants spot was the hardest for me. I was like, who's the Giants gonna like if they drop Dayball? Feels like it could be a splash, like a Deion or a Belichick, or
haven't they said that Dayball was coming back?
I think that's I
think I give Dayball one more year.
Really?
Yeah. What else are you going to get?
Deion or Belichick?
What? Belichick?
Why not? He's only got $1 million. It's $1 million buyout.
Oh, he would not do that. I wouldn't mind. It'd probably mean that Lombardi would at least start his podcast back up again.
No, he would be going with him 100%.
I don't think that he would make
that podcast sucks now.
Yeah, man. The GM shuffle, RIP, man. Mark Dominic. He's just like the important part about you need to have like strong opinions about stuff.
Dude, all I wanted this morning was to wake up and have a GM shuffle pod about the Atlanta Falcons from Lombardi. That's all I wanted.
I was talking about Super Bowl winning GM Terry Fontenot.
And Raheem Morris and his great timeouts. And that's all I wanted this morning. I couldn't have it.
Yeah. Did you wake up this morning and happy with the news that Bert Auburn's going to be returning for the 2025 season for the Longhorns?
Yeah.
You think he's been good? I mean, not Kelvin Banks. Coach Banks, Jeff Banks today. What was cool today about that media days is it must have been hair on fire. Every coach and every player was made available. much to, I'm sure, the chagrin of Steve Sarkisian, certainly to the chagrin of John Bianco. He just hates it. He's like, access for the media to everybody? No! But it was cool, man. You could just go around and talk to anybody, right? So they were asking Banks about, like, Banks is saying, like, look, man, we all know that Bert Auburn hasn't had his best year, but he didn't necessarily say, he said, with Michael Kern, he's like, neither did Michael Kern. And so we're bringing in, I forget his name, so hard to pronounce, the new Australian punter. Boomeister.
He's a punter, though.
Yeah, the new Australian. Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're bringing in the new Australian punter, and they said because they still really like Michael Kern, but they just want, like, they think he needs more time, right? And if people will remember, Michael Dixon stunk whenever he first got to Texas, and he just turned out to be the GOAT. So there could be something there with them. I don't pretend to know about punters or understand anything about their mechanics or whatever, but Jeff Banks knows a ton about these punters. Was Banks a punter himself? Maybe. I think Jeff Banks might have been a punter. Hold on, let's see. Jeff Banks wiki.
Yeah, he's a punter at Washington State.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, there are things there are things that he probably sees. There's clearly things he sees that I wouldn't see. And he's like, with Kern, we'll bring in the Aussie kicker that's like this X-Ray guy award finalist, and we'll just kind of have him mentor him. And by the time he's gone, like, we'll hopefully have this thing set for a couple of years at punter with Kern coming into his own. He didn't make a similar statement about, to my knowledge, about a place kicker coming in to do the same kind of thing with ball.
Well, dude, Bert Auburn's one of two kickers since the year 2000 to have 100% extra point rate.
I don't think he's been miserable, man, but he's kind of missed some kicks, dude.
Him and Justin Tucker. He also, like, obviously, I mean, I thought last year he was fantastic. He's only 17 points behind Cameron Dicker for most points since 2000. So I mean, like, he's gonna annihilate that if he comes back.
Yeah,
I just think he's, how kickers are, man. They get into a funk and then they're off. But even him being off, he's at 78.3% in his career, which isn't horrible. Granted, the guy's had 83 field goal attempts, which is the most in a career since the year 2000. 4 more than Cameron Dicker had in his career in the same span. I mean, Cameron Dicker was 75.9% on field goals. Bert Auburn 78.3.
Huh. That's surprising to me because Dicker felt clutch. I don't know if Auburn felt clutch last year.
That's the factor. The clutch factor is what you connect kickers with, right? You don't connect a kicker with, he nailed all them 37-yarders in the middle of the game. No, it's when the nuts hit did he make it?
Can I just say one thing about these media availabilities, Cody? We talk about the Texas program sort of being ahead of the Arizona State program. When you look at, like, they have, like, Xavier Alford has the most snaps on their whole defense this season. He's a guy that never made a peep at Texas. Prince Dorba plays for these guys. Zach Swanson plays.
Forget about Swanson peeping his mouth up last week. So Swanson, Skattebo, and Levitt all talking. Anyway, I'll let you keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think it says a lot. I was texting with the team source earlier today, and he said he totally agrees with this. That, like, the fact that those guys play for Arizona State, it's like, all right, yeah, Skattebo's really good. I guess Jordan Tyson's good. Levitt seems like a good player. I can't pick out the standouts on defense, truly. Was there anybody that you said in your keys to victory just is one of their defensive keys?
No.
Okay. So, like,
their defensive key was the fact that none of their defensive linemen over 300 pounds.
Yeah. Okay.
So going to get crushed.
So this is an overall. Just look at the rosters and look at the talent, right? This is an overall roster that is, if it's going to get to the Texas level, which is no guarantee, it's going to take a few more years, right? It took Sark a few years to get the roster like he wanted it, right? And he didn't want guys like Dorba and Alford. And so, do you know what I'm saying? They're a few years behind if they're ever going to get to the Texas level, and which I don't think that they will. With that said, the other thing that I noticed, and this is just, I know that this sounds so cocky and so stupid, like it doesn't even matter. and it doesn't. But dude, I think that the Nike clothes that Texas wears are so much nicer than this crappy Adidas stuff that the Arizona State guys wear. It's like, have you watched these availabilities?
Mm-mm. I don't like Adidas.
They're kind of ugly looking clothes, man. It's like they don't. And you look at the Texas stuff. You know, I don't care about brands. I don't love Nike or Adidas. I think they're all kind of cockamamie these days.
You seem to care.
It just looks better. It looks like a more professional operation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't sure if there was anything that anybody else noticed. I'm like, man, Adidas makes bad looking clothes for these.
You don't like that mustard yellow?
Yeah, then they also just kind of have an ugly sort of, you know. I'm colorblind, so it's hard for me to tell, but it's just tough. There was also, what about Tashard Choice?
No running backs. No running backs in the portal, which tells me everybody's coming back.
You think, well, who would you be concerned about leaving? Blue?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's always been your thing. You're
if he's not going to add anybody, I assume that means that all systems are staying the same. Like you're going to look at the depth chart and it's going to be stacked up next year because now you move forward, obviously, and you got Blue's going to be a senior. You'll have Wisner and Baxter, both then as juniors. Clark and Gibson will move into that sophomore role, and you'll have 5 backs that you're going to seemingly want to get the ball to, but it'll still be like Wisner and Blue, but then you also have Baxter, who's kind of deserving. So in that situation, if you knew that those 3 were going to 100% be there, Gibson could be looking for a way out, maybe go back to like UF or something. But if he's staying and Clark's obviously recovering, I think that gives you a very strong 5. And then you can pretty much
I don't think Clark will be ready for next year.
You get my point though. Like and then you'll have Simon and Stewart coming in as the freshmen. And then you just like, you won't even have to think about that. Like it gives you a spot that we were not in July, even when Baxter wasn't hurt and Clark wasn't hurt. You were like, yeah, well, Gibson probably going to get some carries. Clark probably, like there was thought about both those guys being talented enough. And this year it's like, if it's going to be Blue, Wisner, Baxter, Clark, Gibson, Clark obviously going to begin on IR, you won't even think about Simon and Stewart. You won't even have to think about it because you have four dudes.
Did you hear who Tashard Choice said Simon reminded him of whenever he watched him?
It wasn't Bijan.
No, Brooks.
He
just said he's a supernatural runner like Brooks, which I mean, I kind of think is interesting because with Brooks was another guy who it's like kind of my eval on him was like, I can't tell about the attributes, but you know, once you just realize that he's just a good running back. You know what I mean? Like you realized it real quick once he got his opportunity. I feel like, you know, maybe he kind of sees the same thing as Simon because I don't think that you see the elite speed element or the elite stop start element when you look at him. I think it's probably a little bit different with Ricky Stewart Jr., who has a little bit more dynamism to him, but who Tashard Choice said today, and I love the way he refers to himself in the third person by his last name. He says Choice don't need any more running backs. But he said Choice today said that he thought that Ricky Stewart was the one who's a little bit more like the raw ball of clay with the attributes and stuff, whereas James Simon's more the professional runner. Cody, show him that new Poncho shirt that you have on. Now that's one of the flannels.
I love this thing. I talked about this thing on Friday. I didn't talk about this one prospectively, but I just said how much I love these, man. With these pearl snaps are hard to beat. I hate the classic sitting here with my fat fingers trying to put a button in. I hate that, man. I absolutely hate it. This thing is about a pound lighter than the denim one.
Yeah.
I love it though. I put it on. I got it in the mail today. Alex sent it to me. Got it in the mail today. Put it on. I feel like $1 million. You know, Alex, we've been talking about these shirts so much. I've been like this close, and I'm getting like closer by the day to throwing out my entire closet.
Yeah, just
Everything.
Yeah, just got to start new with Poncho. They're
Like,
that good.
everything. T-shirts. I got a awesome white T-shirt with some Poncho stuff on it. The long sleeves sweatshirt type things that are like very
Hoodies,
breathable.
Yeah.
These,
Yeah.
the denims, everything.
And the best thing about the hoodies too is like I'm wearing them in the cold and stuff because they keep you kind of they keep you relatively warm in the cold. But I think that they're kind of made for like wearing over your head and stuff when you're fishing.
Yep.
Because like to keep you from getting sunburned. So make sure and check out Poncho Outdoors. No promo codes, no money off, no nothing like that. They're just because here's the thing, they don't need to. Once you buy them, you're gonna keep buying them. So Poncho Outdoors, just try and get whatever it is before it's sold out because they have avid fans, of which Cody and I count ourselves as. Cody, anything else you want to talk about? You want to talk about Monday Night Football?
Let's do Monday Night Football and let's get out of here. I got a reservation in 50 minutes.
All right.
You said Xavier Alford had the most snaps on the defense.
I think that's right. I mean,
so
you can
Xavier Alford is one of X amount of Texas Longhorns on defense that are graded higher than 74.0. There is 8 Longhorns graded on PFF ahead of Xavier Alford, who's the highest graded defender for Arizona State. And then there's 3 more Texas defenders before the next. So it's 11 Texas defenders to 1 Arizona State defender. And that 1 Arizona State defender is Xavier Alford, all above 74.0 on Cockamamie PFF.
All right, let's see here. I have like a couple $100 already riding and my for my record as far as our roster watch PrizePicks stuff, which is now hitting at like 62%. What were we this week on the weekend, Cody? Like 10-4 or something, right?
10-4. Also, did you see the
11-4 if the Jahmyr Gibbs hits tonight?
Did you see the Gibbs number came down to 16.5?
No, well, I'm getting in on it then. 16.5 for Jahmyr Gibbs' longest rush. I wonder why it came down. I don't like that
because he hasn't hit it in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's probably it. But it's a 17.5. I guess it got down for just a quick minute. So I'm gonna take Jahmyr Gibbs at more than 17.5 on his longest rush. That thing, it has over the course of the last 25. It's hit almost all of them. So
all my stuff I took earlier is like half and quarter. I did take Jake Bates 1.5 field goals made.
Bates,
yeah,
we like that one. Looks like that's a yeah. I mean, it's a popular one. I mean, wouldn't you rather just take the kicking points?
I don't know.
You know they're gonna score 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna take the kicking points.
Okay.
Okay. So I need to find somebody here from Deebo Samuel's been hot lately. Lines have been pretty easy against opposing receivers. Did you like Deebo?
No, Deebo doesn't like me. I honestly, I couldn't find much that I really liked in this game. I took like literally Ricky Pearsall to catch 1 ball in the first half, Kittle to catch 1 ball in the first quarter, Amon-Ra to catch a ball in the first drive. Like I did things like that.
Kittle to catch a ball in the first quarter? Where do I find that one?
I don't know if they'll have it on there. Look and see if it's on there. Just type his name in.
Okay.
I got that on the other website.
Okay. Isn't Kittle going to get 7.5 targets? He's gonna get 7.5 targets.
Primetime football.
Yes.
Against Laporta.
Yeah. What?
Against his boy Laporta.
Yes, he's gonna do it. All right. So I'm gonna get those in. I'll just make it 30 to win 150. And remember, go to PrizePicks, use the promo code OrangeBloods. You can get $50 for free whenever you
I think there's gonna be a PrizePicks show tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, and we'll have a PrizePicks show tomorrow.
I think they're talking about it right now. So,
all right, PrizePicks show tomorrow. Any super chats or anything that we need to get to? Doesn't look like it. Okay, now you can email us fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find us on X at Cody Carpentier, at Alex Dunlap NFL. We thank you guys so much for being here. We thank our great partners like Poncho Outdoors, Texas Beef Traders, and of course. we have to thank one of our best partners, one of our oldest partners here on the channel, and of course, that is Specs.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets.
Like the show, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're here every night from 6 to 7 p.m. on weeknights. We won't be here Wednesday, but we're here for the rest of the week. We're back on schedule. We're heading into 2025, and it's going to be a big, big year, man. Thanks to you guys helping us to grow the show so much this season. So thank you very much. We love you all. Thank you for being here. God bless you guys. God bless your families. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.